you ever felt like you were really struggling to be productive, but you just couldn't figure out why? Well, you're not alone in that, and if productivity was really as easy as searching Google for the best strategies, then we would all be super productive by now. There's no shortage of productivity advice on the internet, but it's not just about those strategies, is it? It's about the whole picture and how everything around you is interacting with itself and with you in that very given moment. Sounds like a lot to consider. It can be if you don't know where to look. But luckily for you, you found this video where I've put together 7 things that you might want to start paying more attention to if you're looking to boost your productivity. Before we get into it, I do just want to mention I'm a little bit sick, so if my voice is sounding weird or my nose starts to look like Rudolph, you know why. Okay, let's get into it. How often do you check in with your body? Like, really check in. How often do you scan through and ask, what does my body really need right now? If you're like most people, probably not very often. And if you do, it's probably something you do while you're meditating or doing yoga or doing some breathing techniques, not something we think about when we sit down to work. And yet our body is constantly communicating with us, which means that if something feels a little off, including with our productivity, then it's probably going to try and get our attention and let us know. Before I sit down and get into a solid work session, I like to check in with my body and look into a couple of things. Are there any basic needs that might be distracting to me over the next hour or few hours? Do I have water nearby so that if I'm thirsty, it's right there? Do I have snacks readily available so I can't use that as an excuse? Am I wearing comfortable clothing that's, temperature appropriate so that that's not something that's nagging on the back of my mind? Do I need to use the bathroom? Do I need to do a few stretches? Whatever it is, take a moment to check in and take care of those needs before you sit down and try to focus. Which brings us to number 2. Finding focus throughout your day can be challenging to say the least, whether it's something external like seeing something out the window or internal of something we can't stop thinking about. These distractions can undoubtedly suck the productivity right out of our day. Finding and maintaining this focus throughout the day might require tweaking these internal and external setups, which can even change day to day depending on our mood, energy level, what we're working on, etc. There's a lot more that we can dive into here when it comes to focus, so if you are interested in me making a separate video all about that, let me know in the comments below. But suffice it to say that figuring out what helps you focus is going to be so key to your overall productivity today and going forward for years to come. So you have a schedule, right? You don't just sit down and start working without a plan, right? Look, if you strongly value flexibility, I get it, because I do too. But if you really want to optimize your productivity, then having some sort of at least loose schedule is really important to making sure that you stay on track. The schedule can be as flexible as you want, but it is crucial to have something in place so that you're doing the right things at the right time and you're not constantly trying to play catch up or wasting time trying to decide what you should do next. You should be asking questions like, when do I have the most brain power to tackle those most complicated or difficult projects that I have? When do you most enjoy moving your body? Creating a schedule like this can not only help you be more productive, but actually enjoy your day more as well. Ooh, this is the sneakiest one of them all. We don't normally think that our expectations or emotions play too much of a role on our work, or at least we'd like to pretend that they don't. But we are one big whole messy human and we cannot separate the two. Whether we consciously realize it or not, we do set expectations for ourselves on how we expect our day to go. Maybe you write out a to-do list, which creates the expectation that you're going to get all or at least most of those things done in that day. And then when you look back on it at the end of the day and you haven't made as much progress as you would like, the guilt ensues. It's so important to set realistic expectations for our days so we're not beating ourselves up for not getting a million things done. That's why my weekly planning system, which I created a whole separate video about, if you're interested in that, I'll link it above so you can go check it out. In that weekly planning system, I highly recommend allocating times or estimated times for how long you expect each task to take you so that you can add them up and see how much time this might actually realistically take you compared to the amount of time that you realistically have in your day to complete it. That might actually even be a fun little exercise for you to do today. Take your existing to-do list, write out next to each item how long you think that thing is going to take you to do. I always like to round up if you're not sure, and then add that up and see, does that thing add up to, 8 hours a day or however much time you happen to have to work on those things. Sometimes the results of doing that can be kind of surprising. Lack of boundaries. Letting other people hijack our time is one of the biggest challenges for a lot of people. You've probably also experienced this technology where a quick little swipe through TikTok or Instagram leads to 30 minutes or an hour down the line of you not knowing where the time went, or maybe you just can't figure out how to say no to a request that you really don't want to take on, and then that ends up derailing your entire day. There's really no way around it. If we want to learn how to be our most productive selves, we need to learn how to set boundaries and protect our time, energy, and attention. By extension, this often means learning how to say no more often, which can be really uncomfortable. This is about learning to prioritize yourself and learning to respect your own needs. You might even be surprised at how well other people take it. And trust me, your phone and all your social media apps will not be offended. Similar to being aware of your body, being aware of your environment is a huge factor in your concentration and productivity levels throughout the day. From music to visual clutter and even the temperature of the room you're in, these small and seemingly insignificant things might sneakily be fighting for our attention in the backs of our minds if they are not constructed and designed in a way that support our current tasks. And this doesn't mean that you set up the same environment every single day. Depending on the work you're doing or how you're feeling, maybe some instrumental music would actually really help you hone in. Maybe other times it's really distracting. It comes back to self-awareness and making sure that you're setting yourself up for success in every way possible. I know, surprise, surprise! Rest is crucial for having a productive day ahead. Sure, it starts with enough high-quality sleep, but it doesn't just end there. Make sure you're taking breaks, both physically and mentally, and that you're actually using those breaks to remove yourself from the task and really rest. Now, what counts as rest for you might be different than what counts as rest for me, but what's important is that the activity that you're doing actually adds energy to you rather than detracting from it. If you struggle with prioritizing your self-care, I do have another video that is all about how to balance productivity and self-care. I'm going to link it here so that you can go check that out and watch that next. I hope that was helpful. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you are not already. I am so close to 1,000 subscribers. I am so excited. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.